Dear Cancer, there is a silence that has finally settled where a storm once raged. You may not have a name for it yet, this quiet stillness that feels both unfamiliar and profoundly relieving, but your soul recognizes it. This is not a moment you have stumbled upon by chance. It is a sacred appointment you have kept, a destination your spirit has been journeying toward across lifetimes of unspoken sorrow. You are here because an invisible thread, one woven from insecurity and hurt, has finally dissolved. A door you never knew was locked has swung open, not with a crash, but with the gentle sigh of a universe correcting a long-held imbalance. Before we step through it together, I invite you to pause, just for a moment. Take a breath so deep it reaches the parts of you that have been holding on for far too long. Allow your heart to soften, not with naivety, but with the quiet wisdom of a soul that has seen the darkness and chosen, time and time again, to remember the light. What is unfolding now is not merely a story of a departure or the end of a toxic dynamic. That is only the surface ripple. The true event, my beloved Cancer, is the story of your return. It is the narrative of a soul that has lived as a guest in a world of harsh demands and emotional chaos, and is now finally being called home to itself. This is your homecoming. If you feel this truth stirring within you, this quiet recognition of a profound shift, I invite you to become a part of this sacred space. Take a moment to like this message and subscribe to our community so we may continue this journey together. And if you are ready to claim this new beginning, share this affirmation in the comments below. I am stepping into the peaceful home that was always mine. By doing so, you are not just typing words. You are sending a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive what is rightfully yours. Stay with me, for the truths we are about to uncover are the keys to the life you have only dared to dream of. Cancer. Have you ever felt as though you were born with a heart too gentle for this world? It is a feeling you have carried in silence, a sacred wound that others often mistake for weakness. They see your care and call it control. They see your emotional depth and call it moody. They witness your boundless capacity for empathy and fail to understand that you are not just feeling your own emotions. You are shouldering the emotional weight of those you love. You are the sign ruled by the moon, the keeper of feelings, intuition, and memory. You are the home of the zodiac, the nurturer, the protector of all that is sacred about family and roots. And because of this, you carry a weight that has no name. You have walked into crowded rooms and felt an acute loneliness, a sense that you are fluent in a language no one else speaks. You have offered comfort with a smile while inside, your own foundations were crumbling, silently pleading for someone, just once, to look past the hard shell and ask if you were truly okay. This is the paradox of your existence, dear Cancer. You did not come here to build empires of steel and stone. You came to build havens of empathy and understanding. You did not come to crave power. You came to offer healing. But in a world that so often values fortresses over gardens, your softness has been your greatest trial. You love with an entirety that leaves you vulnerable, trusting with an openness that this world has not yet learned to honor. And so you have asked yourself, in the dead of night, I live with such kindness, so why am I so often met with carelessness? I love so deeply, so why am I so often left behind? Here is the truth you must now embrace. A seed of pure light must first journey through the darkest soil to bloom. Your heart, in all its perceived fragility, is not breaking, it is expanding. Every crack has been letting in more light, preparing you for a purpose far grander than you ever imagined. You were never meant to be simply understood by the masses. You were meant to be felt by the souls who were ready for true connection. And the first soul that needs to feel the depth of your compassion is your own. Let us speak of the shadow that has just departed. You may have given it a name, a face, the one who drained your energy, who took your kindness for granted. But in truth, it was more than a person. It was an energy. It was the embodiment of selfishness, a fractured soul that could not bear to witness the warmth and generosity that radiates from you. You did nothing to provoke it, Cancer. You simply existed, and your existence was a mirror, reflecting back to that soul all of its own unhealed parts, its own deep-seated fears. They tried to manipulate you with guilt, to plant seeds of doubt so you would question your own intuition. You felt it, didn't you? That quiet, unsettling feeling of your kindness being exploited, a subtle chill in a room that was otherwise warm. You were not imagining it. You were sensing the manipulative chains before they ever fully formed. But here is the miracle they never anticipated. You cannot command the tides to stop. You cannot order the moon to cease its glow. They failed, not because you fought back with fire, but because you continued to meet the world with a gentle heart. Your quiet resilience was a force they could not comprehend. And now, that energy has not just fallen. It has been dissolved by the very light it sought to extinguish. The karmic debt has been paid. The cosmic scales have been balanced, and the space it once occupied in your energetic field is now a vacuum, waiting to be filled with the blessings that have been held in waiting for you. This is not a moment for vengeance or for recounting the pain. It is a moment for a sacred ceremony, a ritual of return. I want you to imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast, calm lake at twilight. This lake is your soul. For so long, its surface has been troubled by storms not of its own making. But now, the waters are still. And in that stillness, for the first time, you can see the perfect reflection of the moon above. That moon, Cancer, is your true self. It has always been there, waiting for the storm to pass. So, what does it mean to walk through your new door? What is this reward the universe is preparing for you? Do not expect it to arrive with a thunderous announcement or a shower of worldly treasures. The most profound blessings do not seek to impress you. They seek to liberate you. The first reward is a peace that requires no reason. It is a quiet exhale you didn't know you were holding. It is the morning you wake up and the familiar weight on your chest is simply gone. It is a freedom from the relentless undertow of the past, the feeling that you are no longer defined by the people who hurt you or the love that left you. The second reward is the return of your authentic self without the fear of rejection. For so long, you have shrunk yourself to fit into spaces that were too small for your spirit. You have quieted your dreams to appease the practicalities of others. You have worn masks of contentment to avoid causing disruption. The universe is now gently removing those masks. It is clearing paths and dissolving relationships that require you to be anything less than who you are. If you have felt old friendships or situations falling away recently with a strange sense of ease, do not mourn them. They are making way for what truly resonates with your soul. Astrology speaks of this as a cycle of spiritual rebirth for Cancer. When you have navigated the deep waters of sacrifice, betrayal, and unrequited love, and you emerge still holding a compassionate heart, you enter a period of light convergence. This is not a time for chasing, it is a time for attracting. Everything is being rearranged to return to you what has always been yours, but which you had to release in order to grow. Have you noticed the synchronicities? The unexpected call from an old friend, the song on the radio that speaks directly to your heart, The stranger who offers a smile so gentle it feels like a message from an angel? These are not coincidences, dear Cancer. These are the whispers of the universe, affirming that you are on the right path. It is returning to you the fragments of light you so generously gave away, but in a higher, more purified form. The love that returns will not be a test, it will be a sanctuary. The opportunities that arise will not demand that you prove your worth. They will recognize it inherently. Now, I sense a question still lingering in the quietest corner of your heart. It is the thorn you have learned to live with. Why? Why did I have to endure so much? Why was I the one who had to be the mirror for so much darkness? Listen closely, as if your soul has been waiting 1,000 years to hear this answer. You were not hurt because you were weak. You were chosen because you were strong enough to be an alchemist. An alchemist is one who can lead the heaviest, darkest of metals and, through a sacred process, transform it into gold. You, Cancer, are a spiritual alchemist. You have the unique, divine ability to hold the pain, the sorrow, and the shadows of this world within your vast heart and transform them, not into bitterness, but into compassion. The souls who hurt you were drawn to you because, on a subconscious level, they knew you were the only one who could hold their pain without breaking. You were not their victim. You were their unwitting healer. You absorbed the lessons they were not ready to face themselves. You chose to love when you had every reason to hate. You chose to let go when you had every opportunity for revenge. You chose to live with quiet kindness when no one was watching to applaud you. And that, dear soul, is why the universe remembers you. That is why this reward is not just a gift, it is a destiny you have earned. Have you ever looked in the mirror and not recognized the sorrow in your own eyes? Have you ever smiled for a photograph while your inner world was collapsing? You have doubted yourself, believing that perhaps you were simply not good enough to be loved in the way you deserved. Let me whisper this truth to you, with all the sincerity of the cosmos. You were never wrong. You were simply growing in a garden where others had not yet learned to tend to the soil. You did not come to this life to beg for love. You came to remind the world of its true nature, that love is meant to heal, not to possess. There is a guardian who has walked with you through every one of these trials. It may be the spirit of a departed loved one, a guardian angel, or an ancestral guide. They have been with you not in body, but in frequency. Do you recall those moments? A sudden feeling of warmth on your shoulder when you felt utterly alone? A whispered word of encouragement in a dream when the waking world had turned its back? A flicker of light, a strange sense of peace that descended upon you when you were inches from letting everything go? That was them. They held you when you thought you were falling. They carried you when your own feet could no longer bear the weight. They never interfered with your lessons, for they knew the strength you were forging, but they never, ever left your side. They are celebrating with you now, a silent chorus of loving energy, rejoicing in your liberation. If you can recall a strange dream, a repeating sign, or a moment of unexplainable peace, I invite you to share it in the comments, not for validation, but because the spark of your personal miracle may be the very thing that ignites hope in another soul navigating the same mist you have just passed through. Your soul, Cancer, is like a hard shell protecting a soft, warm heart. It no longer needs to clench itself for protection. It is opening up, and in that opening, the entire universe, with all its stars and all its infinite possibility, begins to pour into you. I see you standing now, not in a place of chaos, but in a cozy home. Gentle sunlight streams through the window, warming the space around you. There is no one beside you, and yet, For the first time, you do not feel alone. You place a hand over your heart, not to ask, "What must I do next?" but to whisper with profound gratitude, "Thank you for still being here." And yes, Cancer, you are still here. Not the same version that endured the storm, but a new being, one who has walked through the belly of the beast and emerged with its heart not just intact, but more luminous than before. So let this be your final affirmation. The reward is coming. It is already here, growing within you. It is in the ease of your breath, the gentleness in your own eyes as you look in the mirror, the quiet confidence with which you now walk your path. You don't need to do anything to receive it. You only need to be. Be your authentic, gentle, courageous self. If this message has touched that knowing place within you, leave a symbol, a word, or a feeling below. It does not have to be long. It only has to be honest. It only has to be you, so that we know we are all in this sacred space together. From this moment forward, dear Cancer, the most beautiful things are already finding their way back to you. They are not chasing you. They are simply, finally, coming home.